And we can go down to Dr. Peter Larkins with Michael Roberts before the bounce.
Just pushing the burrow of the players. It was interesting to talk to Grant Thomas, the coach, saying that they could be going to Manchester in October, November to start their pre-season. And just this one for Brian. The boys that played the curtain raise at the top end. Well, Collingwood have been involved in a
Good on you, Robbo. We're off and running.
In the middle of the ground, Robbo will get back to you very, very shortly. Just finish that off, Robbo, if you can, for us.
Yeah, the Collingwood have been involved in a chairman's program. $50,000 they've tipped in for that, Brian. So good luck for the Pies to do that. That's fantastic news.
Indeed, Michael Roberts and Dr. Peter Larkins, their boundary side, will be checking in with them throughout the day. McKee in the middle of the ground, low, the game's record holder for the St Kilda side. In amongst it, first kick out of the middle by the Pies. Got it forward, Lockyer to centre half forward, Rocker. Free kick, holding off the ball, and it'll go to the man that's been out of touch, Chris Tarrant. And I tell you what, he's 55 out. This is not beyond him.
Well, talk about players that need to get a good start. They'd love to open up with a goal to Chris Tarrant. He's got Cripps as his opponent, and well, that's a fair chance, I think, for Tarrant to get on the board early.
The wind just pushing slightly into his face here, so it certainly will test even Chris Tarrant. And in fact, the wind holds up pretty well in the end and allows Lowe to mark.
Dishes it straight off to Gehrig. Has a little think about his options across halfback and then gets the handball to Hodgson. They trade a couple back there, and finally Stewie decides to go by foot to the outer side. Thompson with McGough. Here comes Hamill charging through. Wheeling around. Kicks it into the man on the mark. Some excellent forward pressure there from the young player in cloak.
JB, now might be an opportunity to welcome Doc Larkins to the broadcast.
Yes, Gary, just mentioning Stewie Lowe. He's still carrying knee soreness with the right knee. He wants to get through next week to finish off, but just watch him. He's been missing a week, giving it a rest, and we know Buckley probably won't play next week against the Bulldogs. Collingwood will miss him today, certainly with that hamstring injury.
Again, an excellent smother, this time Didak for the Pies. Brings it around the body. Contested situation. Thump from behind. On the ground, St Kilda having to work very hard. Hodgson claimed high, no free kick. And there'll be a bounce.
Rocket, I think it sorted itself out. I think Hodgson might have gone to Tarrant. Cripps perhaps had him in the crossover, but that would appear to be a better matchup.
Yeah, I think so, and I think Cripps was trying to play a spare man, and Nick Davis is playing half-back flank for Collingwood up the other end.
Ball up, Collingwood forward 50, Rocker. Quick ball on boot, went nowhere in the end. Umpire called play untouched off hands. What I'm looking for in these first 10 minutes from either side, especially Collingwood, who are and will play finals football, is a real level of intensity that shows you that they want to be involved and they're going to be major competitors. And it's early to say yet, but we've yet to see that in the couple of moments that we've been playing. But look for that from the Collingwood side early. They need to show it. Burns, Lawrence, the pressure up over the top of Burns, who's been like a new player for Collingwood this year. They've missed him with interrupted injury years in the last few, and he's added a lot to them, Rodney Eade.
Yeah, he has. I think an interesting case just before that, Brian, that Nick Davis at half-back. Steve Lawrence went into the contest, so Nick Davis ran forward and was 40 yards clear by himself. So Steve Lawrence has got to be careful of that situation.
Stewie Lowe with a couple to beat, and eventually the umpire comes in and says, I'll take it back.
Started in the ruck, Stewie Lowe, with Spider Everett up forward. I'm not sure whether Stewie will run the whole quarter out.
Big job for Cloak on Aaron Hamill. There's Stewie getting it to the side of that exchange. Unable to pick it up there for the Saints was Stephen Baker. Bit of a stop-start to this game. As Brian Taylor mentioned, the conditions absolutely perfect for footy. Paul Licuria, as always, a big job for him. Stewie, clean possession, and then he has a fresh air kick. Wheeling around for St Kilda, Heath Black, claimed and gone.
I think a very interesting matchup is Licuria, who normally does some tagging. Probably thinks they haven't got anyone to tag, so Baker is tagging him, so the roles are reversed.
Not a great kick in from Josh Fraser. Allowed the St Kilda defence to get numbers around the footy. Now Licuria leads in the race and just overruns the ball. In fact, about 4 players overrun it. Eventually Lenny Hayes, the cleanest by hand, slots it inboard. Heath Black on the right foot gets it to half forward. The first time the Saints have been in this part of the ground. Wakeland, well done, full-chested at the footy and breaks it up for Collingwood.
Got it nicely into Loney. Now they're free and able to run the Pies. Work on here through Burns. Long driving ball. Tarrant, watch Leon Davis from the side. Danger. Off hands nicely in the end. Aussie Jones, a positive move forward there from the Magpies. Kick out wide. Nick Davis with the disputed ball. with Baker. We'll have a ball up.
Just that one with Darryl Wakeland, terrific work. He's playing on Spider Everett, and really, he's just got to be aware. Lawrence was on there, he was on his own on that in that situation. Had Spider been able to get his body in between, Shane Wakeland rather, then they were off and running, the Saints.
Yeah, I said Nick Davis. Lacuria was the man on the bottom of the pack there, round the corner. Riewoldt. Here he is. The youngster that can play a bit. Nick Riewoldt, centering ball. Everett looks set here. Couldn't quite handle the ball in the air. Should have, though, in the end. Begley. Handball back. Black. Underground ball almost. Everett around the body. And he was under pressure. And the resultant out of bounds on the full. Prestigiacomo, the recipient, James.
Yes, that was your original high floater from Spider. The black and white army behind Simon Prestigiacomo, and there are plenty of them here. McGough to fly from behind Everett. That was always going to be tough for the youngster.
Better by Spider. 2 hands to the footy, 1 grab. He just dropped an easy one, so that'll do his confidence a world of good.
Nothing coming at him. Now he goes sideways, and that's not a good kick.
Trying to invent something, wasn't he?
Lacuria gets it off. Tarkin Lockyer now to half forward. Here's Tarrant. Just waited for the footy to come to him. Now it hits the ground. Didak picks it up. Advantage paid. The dangerous left footer inside the 50. Set sail. Bang! Got it. First one on the board of the Pies.
It's a great start for them, Gary. He's a fantastic kick, isn't he, Alan Didak, on the run? And it was good play from Collingwood. Obviously a poor pass from Spider Everett helped set that up. Perhaps the free kick wasn't there. Oh yes, it is there to Holland now. But yeah, I think Spider Everett had nothing coming at him. Probably tried to square the ball. Maybe needed to go 15-20 metres out from the goal square.
Good example of a lack of confidence, I think, by Spider on that occasion.
Didak getting first blood in this game for Collingwood. 1 straight goal, and hopefully he'll be able to ignite the Pie fans here today and get them excited and involved in their team's performance as they head finalswood in 2002. Out wide, Johnson off ground, wanting and willing some support, none offering, so he had to go back and do it himself. Boundary line beat all. Bit of a box on just off the ball there. You can see Milne involved in that with Jason Cloak. And the emergency umpire, always willing to get to his feet and help out, which I think's perhaps an unnecessary part of their job. Throw the ball back into play. Northern side of the ground here at the MCG. Bathed in sunshine today. It's a beautiful Melbourne nearing spring day as Burns bursts out. Rocker. No-go. Mark Hudson.
Always with the eyes fixed firmly on the footy. Max Hudson gets it off to Austin Jones. Kicks it down the line. Hamill holds his ground and wins a free kick.
Reversed. No.
So Aaron Hamill slips. Now he goes. Stevie Lawrence in some space at half forward. Now they go inboard to Riewoldt.
Steve Lawrence is playing on Nick Davis, or Nick Davis is playing on Steve Lawrence as a halfback flanker. And the 3 or 4 occasions I've watched, they have had a lot of yardage between the two of them, Rocket.
Yes, Nick Davis really can't afford to go, even though he's down in confidence, can't afford to go kick chasing.
The equal leading mark taker in the competition with Warren Treadray. Nick Riewoldt, kick on the way, not his best.
Sorry, JB, go.
No, I was just going to say it was the first score for the Saints, but not what they were after.
It's an interesting decision, isn't it, to play Nick Davis there, and I wonder how long they'll persevere, whether they're trying to educate him, or I'm not sure what the rationale is, to be honest, Rocket, because it's a strange one 2 weeks out from a final series.
I think probably trying to get some confidence in his game, and maybe just to try and get him a kick and he can run forward, and they're going to attack the ball from him, while the game's up in front of him.
Well, he kicked the ball in and found his intended target there. Prestigiacomo out wide to McKee, who's been significant for Collingwood this year and a factor in what they've been able to achieve and elevating themselves to 4th position at this stage of the year. Lacuria, normally the tagger, as Gary mentioned early. Long driving ball, Fraser, low, 3-on-1 there in favour of the Saints. Low, off to Lawrence, comes back. Saw the brick wall closing in on him out the southern stand side, and the kick is nicely placed in the hands of Hamill. St Kilda working it methodically with tidy, clean skills at the moment. Their ball movement through the midfield has been good as Baker kicks long. Didn't find the target. Johnson pushed off the ball. Milne, danger, danger, danger. Milne will end over end one as easy as that. St Kilda's first goal, they lead by a point.
He was a real live wire, as I've always mentioned, but the most impressive thing, apart from his ability to kick goals around corners, is his ability to keep his feet.
Yeah.
Never goes to ground. He's only a little fella, and he does get some buffeting. It's a nice old push. Keeps his feet.
He's the best crummer in the game. I got no doubt about that. And his ability to turn opponents inside out is second to none. So there's a lot to like about him, and I think you can leave him one out with some confidence now.
So the Saints get there first. Early stages, first term, 31 disposals, St Kilda to Collingwood 17. So lots of the footy for the Saints. Good work out of the centre again by Stewie Lowe. They've got it to half forward, a 2-on-1 situation. Loney judged it the best. Now he goes with the foot pass to Didak, the goal scorer. The left foot delivery normally good, and it is again. Tarrant slides in and then gets it off to Burns. The leg speed not there for Scotty Burns. And St Kilda with numbers across half back start building the wall. Moyle gets it off. Maguire gets around a couple. Now goes to Baker by hand. And the outer side, Riewoldt. Long way from centre half forward, but got the footy nonetheless. Stevie Lawrence. Driving ball to Big Spider, good mark. Third of those for Peter Everett. To half forward with his kick, a bit of holding there, and a free kick's been picked out.
Good call.
I think what Collingwood are going to do, they're going to be doing, Nick Davis has moved back to the forward line, and Loney went down as the half-back fan, loose. I think they might be in a rotation today because they're both good kicks and both can run the ball, so probably tried to free them up.
And they hope in the meantime that they don't get hurt too badly by Nick Davis's lack of accountability as a defender.
Aaron Hamill with the footy. 21 goals on the season for him. Directly in front. About 45 metres to carry. Great shot of it there. Kick on the way. He may have just pulled it left. So a couple of misses to the Saints. Up by 2 points.
Clement to kick the ball back into play this time for Collingwood. They trail there by 2 points. They've played 12 minutes just over in this first term. With a silent crowd here at the moment, not getting activated with any great electric style play. Wakeland in defence decides to bring it back to the north side of the ground, and St Kilda said no, you won't go that way, you must go back south side. He does. Fraser high up, Cloak spun out of the pack, dished off. Once again Josh Fraser, he's been quiet in recent weeks as well. Tarrant on the leads, had a couple of touches. He missed that one. Hudson tried to burst his way through.
Pinged him.
Yeah, gee, it was touchy. Pistol Rowson's not here, is he?
I think so.
Tarrant, driving ball inside 50. Over the back, Burns. Stewie Lowe's there. Looks lively today, Stewie's covering plenty of territory. Been asked to do the ruck duties while Spider Everett plays up forward. He worked it out well in the end. Garrick has got the touchline if he wants. He says no, we'll take it and go with it out wide to Hamill.
Long ball looking for that play. Good fist away from Clement, and wonderful recovery too from the same player. Around the body. Holland in some space. Ball smothered off the boot. And now Lawrence meets the footy. Head on. Peckett. Lenny Hayes. Andrew Thompson as they combine through half-back. St Kilda looking good. High kick now. Milne and Johnson. Thumped away by the ladder. Begley will need to get involved, but don't argue. Saints just nice and clean. Here's the kick inside the forward 50. One out, Peter Everett. Well done, Wakeland, to work his way to the front. The Curia bundled over. Now he's going to have to be careful. Chain of handballs and in some space. Lenny Hayes. Just wasteful in front of goals at the moment, the Saints. The third behind. Up by 3 points.
They do look dangerous when they go forward. Like Stephen Milne, who is playing up the ground a bit, which is good, but at the right time he has to be close enough to Peter Spider Everett, who made a good contest. At worst, get the ball to the front, and then those smaller St Kilda players are going to push hard to get onto the loose footy.
Yeah, if there's one problem, Gary, with Milner, it is that he tries perhaps to be the centre of the tension rather than be on the sides of where the ball should be focused to.
Yeah, I think he needs to look at the setup, Brian, and you can see that they've got a tall forward there in Peter Everett. That's where the footy will be directed, and then he's just got to adjust accordingly.
You think that last time, though, I have to defend Milne, and the ball was kicked to him. Both Hamill and Riewoldt had pushed a long way up the ground, and Everett was back in the goal square, and I don't think he really wanted the ball to come to him.
We'll bow to your slightly better judgment, Ronnie, through the middle of the ground. Just on this one occasion, though, as Rocker had the ball punched away by Garrick, Hayes working hard in defence. Saints doing it nicely through the defensive half-back area. Hamill the intended target. Clement did well. Ball to ground. Lawrence always hard at it. Head over the ball there. Baker was brilliant stuff. Shoveled it out somehow to the Wolf. Got rid of it. Who wants it? Hamill says, get out of the way, Jason Cloak. Wolf out wide now with space. He's got Riewoldt on downfield if he wants him. Finds him. And another set shot at goal for St Kilda.
15 minutes into the first quarter, mark number 4 for Nick Riewoldt. It's his athleticism, his ability to read the play and cover ground that has meant that James Clement, I think, has been moved off him. And it might even be Cloak who's gone to Riewoldt.
Riewoldt to make it a 7-point lead. He has missed again, incredibly. And St Kilda not kicking all that well in front of goal, especially from the set shot at the moment. They lead by just the 4 points.
Loney to bring the footy back in. Magpies yet to really get rolling.
It's a flat start. It is a very, very flat opening.
29 handballs to 9 in favour of the Saints, so you can see where the run's coming. That's kick 2, Riewoldt. Beautiful mark. Says you can play footy. 5 of them already overhead for Nick Riewoldt. Inside the forward 50, one out, Wolf.
Fantastic kick. Great kick on the diagonal. Great kick across to the fat side of the ground quickly. And the thing that's impressed me today compared from St Kilda to last week, they fiddled and mucked around with the footy, tried to create an option. This time they've been a bit more direct and got the ball in very quickly. Now they just need to convert.
This kid has been a revelation. He went forward when the big comeback at Colonial Stadium a couple of weeks ago, kicked 4 goals against the Cats, and he's got a lot more about going for him as a footballer than we've given him credit for.
Nick Davis off, not happy.
Again, the set shot work not good from the Saints.
Apart from his kicking.
64%, the AFL average. Not for Daniel Wolf, so another behind.
But I reckon they're going to kick it in the area of Nick Riewoldt somehow.
All back into play, Loney. I'm just watching Nick Davis prance up and down the boundary line, and certainly not willing to do the full warm down, that is for sure. Quite keen to sit on the wood. Johnson, Hamill in the middle. Hard, low, fast. Hands, Peckett, out wide, Maguire, back to Frankie Peckett. From wing, transfers the ball. It's on here for the Saints, driving ball long. Pack formation, Loney up. Nice mark in the end.
Bit harder at it at the moment, St Kilda. Their work at the footy is more than equal of Collingwood's.
Long ball from Clement. Again, the numbers on the ground with the Saints. Fraser having to work very hard. He's worked under it, though, by Maguire, who did it pretty well. Over the top, Moyle. Further afield now to Aussie Jones. High ball to half forward. They come from all directions, and the boundary line is the winner. Let's go down to Dr. Peter Larkin's boundary side.
Yeah, JB, Nick Davis not really happy with himself coming off. He's been really underdone fitness-wise with both the osteitis pubis and the chronic ankle. So I would have thought running him around a lot today, as you mentioned earlier, wasn't a good idea, and he looks pretty sore.
Okay, Doc Larkin's on the spot down there. Always a reason behind the player when he comes off and doesn't look happy. And Doc right on the ball there. We'll have a ball up half forward. Let's see if we can get this game happening here at the moment. There is Nick Davis, and well, perhaps
Body language not great, Brian.
perhaps I was right in the end.
Yeah.
Body language not good. There, Nick. Off hands. Clement. Black. Driving ball inside 50. Collingwood have got a 2-on-1 here as Davis has worked back.
It's a great effort from Johnson.
Yeah, Johnson's doing well. Leon Davis is off from half back. Kicks out wide. Beautiful kick. Found his intended target. Richardson on his return. His first touch. Driving ball to Rocker on the march. He's marked on 50. Make no mistake about it. He's within range.
I'd like to know why Fraser Gehrig wasn't running with him at that stage, and it had Stephen Lawrence.
I can tell you why. It was a big screen in the goal square, Rocket. Brodie Holland was the player who put the screen on. So it's a very good question, and our camera work picked it up beautifully.
Just a tickle on the ribs there from Lawrence. Nothing much in it, but just, hello, I'm here and I'm a defender. As Rocker lines up right on the 50-metre line. Gee, kicking not good here today, just offline. Another minor score, so in total we've had the 6 behinds today, already kicked in 20 minutes of football in what I would have thought would have been pretty good conditions.
Certainly, for the MCG, the conditions almost perfect. Sun shining, a bit of breeze, not much. Aussie Jones kicks to himself and then goes on one of his customary runs. High ball now down the line. Thompson forced to work hard. Richardson brings it to ground. O'Brien around the body.
Let's have a look at this screen, James. We picked this up. Rocket asked the question, rightly so, where was Fraser Gehrig? There's Fraser Gehrig right there, behind Brodie Holland, and that's why Rocket was able to get away and compete against.
Is that a free
Lawrence.
kick with a block with a Shepherd?
Depends how subtle it is, I reckon, Rocket. Your thoughts?
Probably allowable, that one.
Yeah.
It was okay.
Surely don't take that out of our game.
Hamill. Now they're away again, the Saints. High to half forward. Riewoldt under the footy. Wolf does well.
Strange matchup, Prestigiacomo and Wolf. I would have thought Prestigiacomo would have been perfect for Riewoldt. Maybe they worry about his ability to cover the ground. But I tell you what, this kid Wolf, if he gets his kicking right, he's one of those players who can play really tall, Rod, and he's got really good legs that carry him to the
Great
footy.
pace. I would have thought he'd probably a match-up for Clement. Suit him, and maybe Presti certainly does suit Riewoldt a bit better.
11 goals, 9 on the season for Daniel Wolf. Make that 11 goals, 10.
It's not the greatest of kicks.
No, he's not, but I tell you what, he's something to work with over summer, Daniel Wolf. Those sorts of players are really difficult for opposition clubs to match up on, and I think he's got a huge future.
Ryan Loney. Ball back and play umpire said he didn't carry the duty, so rightly called play on. Spider slipping over before contact was made there as a driving ball forward, beautifully presented to Richardson. And he marks right on centre wing. Southern stand side of the ground. Time left in the game, 3.5. Brings the ball into the corridor where all good modern sides like to get it. Lockyer. Brilliant by foot. Has had a couple of misdemeanors kicking in from fullback in recent weeks, but other than that he's been tidy through the midfield. General field players. Didak goes across to McKee. Riewoldt got back, free ball. Numbers though. Riewoldt beat 3 then. He did it really well. Black. What can St Kilda get out of this? Lawrence, sneaky handball through the middle, allows Hayes to run penetratingly down the middle and deliver to Spider. Got there Prestigiacomo. Did it well at ground level. Lucuria, Pies out of trouble.
Did brilliantly Prestigiacomo. Johnson now with the ball. Half back on the wing. And that kick to half forward into a nest of Saints. Questionable option, I would have thought. Mill now just eases it to Riewoldt, who continues to find the footy. Saints with the numbers. Wolf having a big time of it in the first term. 5 marks inside the forward 50, thumped away from Everett. And the Pies back there in control. Johnson again. Game being played between the half-forward lines at the moment. Freeborn with a long handball. McKee needs to get it and go. Eventually, his handball to Johnson was a little untidy. Scrappy stuff to half-forward. No real system for the Pies. Tarkin Lockyer inboard. Leon Davis, well done. Can he spark them a little? Left foot kick inside the 50. Good. Richardson's taken the mark.
Kick the goal here, they go in front at quarter time, which would be unbelievable because St Kilda have had 14 touches inside their forward 50. This will be just possession number 4 for the quarter in terms of inside 50 for Collingwood. They haven't had it in there. They've been belted everywhere but the scoreboard.
Mark Richardson with the footy. Can he ease a set shot through? Kick on the way. Mark taken on the line. And the Saints go to the line for a bit of a reprieve, members' side.
I think the thing up the other end, Gary, is Nick Riewoldt, who is playing very well, but he's getting a lot of his ball wing and the defensive side, and Clement is sitting back, and that's creating an extra Collingwood player in the defence and be able to run the ball out.
St Kilda by 5 points. Richardson out of the ruck. Tarrant closing in here. Saints have got the numbers behind and in front. Maguire. Off they go. Baker from the last line, a couple of bounces. He runs outside defensive 50. Had nothing on downfield, so he was looking down and then realised, well, boundary line better be the best option.
Aaron Hamill's asking the question, what am I, a block of flats?
It's a long way away, Gary.
Well, he makes up a plenty of ground. What you're saying, Rocket, they maybe concede Riewoldt a fair bit of footy up the ground because they know it's going to be hard to go with him and drop back off him.
Yeah, that's right. And I think there he's not going to kick any goals, is he?
No.
He gets the ball on the wing. So and therefore Clement with his pace can sit back and can cut off leads for Wolf and Milne.
Well, Clement's had 6 possessions, taken 3 marks himself. Nick Riewoldt has had 7 possessions and taken 6 marks. So that might be not a bad option for the Pies.
Clement and Riewoldt now playing on each other there. Collingwood inside their 50, perhaps for the last time in this first quarter. Hudson flew. Leon Davis menacingly around the edges. Peckett. O'Brien, clever little tap in. Baker was awake and aware of what was going on. Kicked it out of the danger zone. Burns. It'll go over the line. No, it won't. Umpire says go on with it. Burns again. Free kick there, I thought. Now, we've got 10 seconds left. It has to be a kick inside 50 and a mark. He wouldn't be aware of the time ticking down, of course. And this will be it. Collingwood need to mark it. They won't. Off hands. And, well, a lack of goals in that first quarter. Certainly from both sides. St Kilda having the better of it inside 50, as Gary mentioned. They kick 1 goal, 6. 12 to Collingwood, 1-1-7 in 25 minutes of football. And that man there, Nick Riewoldt, was absolutely brilliant in that first quarter of football.
Ryan, they had 26 more disposals than Collingwood in a quarter of footy, which is pretty significant. And they had 7 scoring shots to just 2. So the Magpies have got away with a bit here. We'll go to the break and come back with the second quarter on AFL Sunday. Still a bit of ducks and drakes out there, boys, but all is in readiness for the second quarter.
It's the Collingwood bench as we go to start this second quarter of football with St Kilda leading by 5 points. In the middle, McKee. Hayes. Off hands there, O'Brien. Thompson working hard, the captain today, over the top. Jones. Left foot driving kick. Spider over at the target. He's marked directly in front.
That is as good a kick as we'll see today, Brian, from Aussie Jones. Left foot across his body, back into the centre corridor, hits him lace out without breaking stride. That is some real football talent there.
Spider Everett lines up well within his range, just inside the 50, directly in front. There's a good look at it. Kick on its way. Brilliant goal. The second for St Kilda, the first for Spider. So that is a very positive start for the St Kilda side.
I'm big on goal assists, Rod, and you'd have to give him, I would have given him, if you're allocating points, Aussie Jones 5 of those points.
It was fantastic play. It was good running from Aussie from behind, quick hands, and as you mentioned before, just a terrific kick. Terrific kick to advantage. And pleasing thing for Spider and St Kilda is that he ran hard at it. That he's prepared to actually come to the footy, and that's what he's got to do all afternoon.
He's got to lift their vision at times, I think, and look a bit longer and look in that general vicinity.
So the Saints with the early goal in the second term. Stewie Lowe has played the whole game in the ruck so far and done a pretty good job of it. He's won a free kick here. Handball off to Lenny Hayes. He goes to half forward. His kick just a little fierce for Baker. Cloak set a task on the ground. Baker comes back hard on him. And we'll have a bounce.
Interesting this second quarter, James, when you consider that Collingwood have won just 9 of their 20 second quarters, and St Kilda have won 4 of their 20. If that's any indication, it might get worse than the first quarter.
Hasn't been a good quarter for either club. Thompson with a banana ball from a standing start. Dangerous bouncing footy for Milne. Tries to keep it in the end. Wakeland did a good job.
And in that second quarter, St Kilda have won 4 of their 20 second quarters only this year, Gary. Have conceded 41 goals to the opposition in those second quarters.
It's a young interchange bench. Yes, they are good points you make, Brian.
Thank you. Everett, Milne, line. Boundary throw-in.
Just as this game will open up, make no mistake about it. It will open up. Probably might not take until the third quarter, but when it does, goals will come pretty quickly, I think.
McKee and Burns with some fancy work there, but the finishing piece of that fancy work not as good as it could have been. Low free kick in the shade of the members' stand, which will soon be demolished. Kick on its way. Burns Marks, defensive 50. Scotty Burns out wide. Don't know where that one was going, but Lowe's going to be in front, and he'll mark, and he's been really good so far. Handball off to Hudson as he was being dragged to ground was clever. Kick downfield. Hamill committed there. Couldn't get hold of it. Burns, handball smothered. Wolf sneaky out the back door. Presti Giacomo through traffic. On to Freeborn. Foot pace needed. Not there. Dragged down. Too high. Del Santo.
Too high on Freeborn. Look at this, just got him around the neck there. Definite free kick.
8-3, the free kick count in favour of the Pies. Short ball finds McKee. He goes further afield to Tarkin Lockyer. This looks more promising for Collingwood. Looks to go. Now he does. Inboard. Freeborn with the ball. Now the kick inside the 50. Very good. Didak just not able to get to it. Voss did well. The numbers are with Collingwood. Wakeland picks it up. Breaks a tackle. Now just eases it forward. Holland with the ball.
Filling holes pretty well, St Kilda. Look at Max Hutchin, the way he's playing Chris Tarrant. We might get a look at that at some stage. He's playing him from about 20 metres in front because he knows that Tarrant presents to the footy every single time, and it is the exact right way. Look at that. There's the big gap there. That's Maxi in the furthest away from shot.
Brodie Holland takes his direct opponent on, gets around. Now the kick from the line. On the way. Brodie Holland. Oh, yeah. That's a ripper.
It's a lot of confidence in your ability to do that. And to go boundary side and do it. It must have been a very poor tackle. Should not have let him pass. And Lawrence, who is normally a very good tackler, and just a terrific kick. Most players in there would centre it, Gary, but you live and die by the sword.
Well, if you have your shot, I think the coach used to say you better make sure you kick it, son, and he did. You've got to know your opposition too, I think, and maybe Steve Lawrence just wasn't awake to the fact that Holland might have had the audacity to go around him. So you would expect that of Leon Davis. I think everyone will be now on notice that Brodie Holland doesn't mind having a crack at it either.
Collingwood trail by 5 points, and they've yet to have a centre clearance at this stage. St Kilda lead at 4-0. And this won't be one for them either, as the umpire will ball it up. Umpires today, Michael Vozzo, Hayden Kennedy and Michael Avon. So Glenn Freeborn there. Ball up just the Collingwood side of the centre circle. Collingwood in this second quarter to the left of screen, which is the punt road end here. Low carried a lot of the load in the ruck, all of it in fact. Del Santo started on the bench, kick forward. Everett perhaps being held, some would suggest. Hamill, clever, under enormous pressure. Mill opens it up. Del Santo has marked. It was a clever kick, wasn't it?
Two fantastic kicks, one from Aussie Jones and now that one from Stevie Milne. I've mentioned this a couple of times, he's very high up in the assist list, Stephen Milne, so whilst he does kick goals, he does set plenty up as well, and that is, well, you can't get any better than that.
No, it's a fantastic kick to the other side of the corridor, rather than just kicking a straight line towards the goal square.
Does Del Santo to make it St Kilda's second of the quarter. Kick, he's done his best in this, but he's made it.
Very good play, but I know I hate to keep talking about Riewoldt all the time. Gary, that last ball up, which was after the centre bounce, Nick Riewoldt came for centre half forward and stood the defensive side of the ball up. His man went with him, which was James Clement, which is okay because it creates space in the forward line, but Nick Riewoldt, if he gets the ball there, it's just a quick kick. Yep. He should be the target inside 50.
So the Del Santo goal puts the Saints back up. 9 points the margin, in fact 11. And there he is, sliding in off the line as the secondary bounce occurs.
And there he is, there's Nick Riewoldt. Rod, as you said, I mean, he's one of, 14 or 15 players in that pack, so he's not going to have a big impact on any possession that he gets there. He might be better placed to be inside 50 where he's most dangerous.
Big climb from Clement to thump it forward. Milne missed the return effort. Now he steps out of a couple of tackles, gets it to Lenny Hayes. Burns picks it up inside the 50. Holland under the footy. Didak not there either. Can Tarrant muster something? Too slow to dispose of the ball. Great tackle from Max Hutchton. Saints defenders working awfully hard. Freeborn lurking. Didak has a fresh air shot. Milne head over the footy. No free. Have a bounce.
Now what? They were just continuing with the Nick Riewoldt saga, and then we'll drop it for a while. But it looked like he and Lowe were just swapping roles during the course of play, and they'll swap again now. So I think you'll find that they may do that throughout the afternoon. Stevie Lawrence grabs his head once more, it'll fall off.
Quite upset, wasn't he?
He was. Well, he did it again.
Stewie Lowe pushes someone in the head, and the footy ends up with Thompson. Long ball, 2-on-1. Spider's going to have to work very hard here. Wakeland read it best. Short little delivery, and O'Brien ends up with it at half forward.
O'Brien just nearing the interchange area, waiting for something to eventuate, and he finds McKee close to the boundary line. Now he'll be looking to straighten it up through the corridor from here. And there it goes. Kick conceding a little. Clement was there, and he will want to play on quickly. He's got Cloak on in the middle of the ground.
Also got a big flood on too, Brian. There's only 2 players not in this half of the ground.
St Kilda getting back in numbers, as Gary has mentioned, and there you see the effect of it, the zone. Although McKee was able to steal it, fired the handball to Tarrant. Tarrant, set shot on goal. Post. Chris Tarrant, Collingwood 2-2-14. St Kilda 3-6-24.
I think the pleasing thing for Collingwood and for Chris Tarrant, he seems to be working very hard today. He seems to be presenting himself and getting in most of the contests.
Aussie Jones, members side. I think he might have overstepped the mark.
I know, isn't it easy to sit up here, but you got 10 metres in there. I can't tell me what the difference of an extra half an inch is going to make. Get back from that line and kick from half a foot behind it, rather than just try and sneak every single centimetre.
Like saying that Ben Johnson must have started half a metre behind the start line in the Olympic Games, Gary.
Once again, you fail to grasp the concept of what I'm trying to tell you. It's about risk and return, Brian, and the risk of taking it straight to the white line and giving up 2 centimetres and a possible goal for the return of an extra half a foot.
Rocket, don't you love a couple of ex-full forwards talking about kicking out from a behind? Something neither of them have done in their whole
Brian,
careers.
I used to venture into the back half from time to time.
No, all good forwards. If you're really good at it, you never need to go to that end of the ground. So we wait here because of the blood rule, and we might cross down to Dr. Peter Larkins because Stewie Lowe is involved in that. Dr. Peter Larkins.
Yeah, they've just brought Stewie to the bench at the moment. Look, nothing really obvious on him at the moment. I didn't actually see an incident, Brian, so I don't expect it'll be too much. So he was taking his time to allow the change with Moyle.
All right, so double change there involved in that blood rule change as well. Now, Jones has the opportunity to kick the ball back into a play. McKee setting himself. Riewoldt did well to spoil. Ball in a disputed situation now. Won by Freeborn. Rocker launches from inside the centre square. Didn't get the carry one of Lawrence. It was because it was coming in all directions, Gary, and he took it nicely.
Lawrence has Everett on a long lead. Eases Richardson away from it. Richardson in the end did very well. Long handball for Holland at half forward. Gets back on his favoured side and delivers it inboard to Rocker. Collingwood in the last 5 minutes just better.
McKee's on.
Big long bomb. Here is McKee. The fly from behind ended up breaking it up. O'Brien at ground level, just inside the 50. Left foot to the hot spot. Tarrant from behind, but the mark taken in front by that most resolute of defenders, Max Hutchton.
Hard work for the forwards of Collingwood because of the numbers that St Kilda are getting back, so they just have to hang in through this difficult period. Wait till this game opens up a bit, and then their opportunity will come.
St Kilda have kicked 2 goals to Collingwood's 1, but in this second quarter, but Collingwood have had all of the play in the last 5 or 6 minutes in their forward half of the ground. Aussie Jones on to Everett by foot was nice. Driving ball by Spider inside 50. Umpires paid a free kick. No one at the ground knew what for.
Grabbed Cloak and swung him out of the marking contest. Out there.
Oh, gee, Gary.
That's what it was for, Brian.
Thank you. Yes. Wakeland. Centre wing marks. Rocker, and a little nudge there. Oh, no.
At least they're consistent.
Well, yes, they've had a consistently poor weekend because I've been to
That was in the side.
4 games this weekend and they've been pretty similar. Free's 10-3 in favour of Collingwood at the moment. Rocker inside 50, driving ball. Tarrant and Hutchton worked him nicely under the ball. Lawrence at the back. Boundary line beats all comers, so we've got a low-scoring game of football here at the moment. Doc Peter Larkin's ground side.
Yeah, Paul Lucuria not having his normal day, as we've said earlier. 6 minutes into this quarter, he got a hit to the head. He's walking the boundary at the moment with the club doctor, Paul Blackman. He's just been a little bit fuzzy, a little bit concussed, I think, and they just brought him off for give him a bit of a rest.
Holland read it best. Swings around. Long ball to the square. Freeborn did brilliantly. Terrific footy there from Freeborn.
Well, I mean, if they were going to be ultra consistent, they'd probably look at that. There's no doubt it was a mark, but the other 2 that were paid, you'd have to say, well, you'd raise the question.
But it was great use of the body.
Yeah.
The hit that Heath Black was all at sea. Was that when the ball came in? And Freeborn, having some natural forward instincts, used his body very well.
Freeborn, point blank range. And he kicks the goal for Collingwood.
Yes, it's a very tight game. It's we've really seen many real good passages of play from one end to the other. It's really been tight. There've been turnovers. It's been scrappy. There's been poor kicks at goal. Hopefully, as you say, Gary, that might start to open up.
Yeah, well, let's not beat around the bush, Rocket. It is boring at the moment, but it is an arm wrestle, and there will be some goals scored, and then we can sit back and enjoy it.
6 goals in total scored, but no side has kicked 2 in a row in this game. Gives you a bit of an idea of the struggle that it has been for both sides. Scotland, the tackler, along with Burns in the middle. Hayes there. Number 7 for St Kilda is their number 1 in hardball gets. And Lowe retiring at the end of this year. What a player he has been for St Kilda. Ball knocked down to the centre half forward area for Collingwood. The 2 number 1s, Peckett, Leon Davis. It's the one from St Kilda that did the damage on this occasion, going wide. Loney infringed.
Free kick down the ground, bro.
Okay, so that'll be St Kilda to be the recipient of that free kick, and Moyle just backward of half forward. Centering kick finds Lowe. He's able to play on now. Long driving ball. Baker working hard to get the front position. Wakeland tried to get a fist there. Wolf had a couple of shots in the first quarter. That was good to get Boot on ball. Keep it in play. Got a bit of a knock there. No free kick. There's the consistent rule being applied. Little left foot toe poke around the corner found Scotland.
He goes further afield. Tarrant has it broken up by Hutchton. And that man on screen, a much scrutinised player.
Jason Clark asking the question here. Actually, it was an excellent decision.
Indeed it was.
He got him in the arm.
I guess what will happen with Jason Cloak is that, you know, umpires will start to look out for him, have to work twice as hard to get it through.
Tarkin Lockyer wheels around. Now he goes. Richardson, 4th in line for that footy, ends up taking it. Now he plays on quickly. Didak. No, he's going to have to bring it back.
The angle, they let them play on from anywhere else on the ground. Why don't they do it in the forward line?
I'd like to look at that again. I'm not too sure whether he actually called a halt to play.
Blown time on.
The umpire, whether he put his hand up. I just want to argue with Brian on this one.
Oh no, argue with him by all means.
No, well, they let it happen anywhere else on the ground, so I'll get in first. He may not have gone back behind his mark, but happens everywhere else.
Just 3 goals on the season for Mark Richardson. Had 1 crack at a set shot. This is his 2nd attempt, and he was equally unsuccessful.
Well, I think they're being overly pedantic in that particular instance, but big couple of weeks for Richardson. Here we go, let's have a look at this. There is the mark. Held him up. He's in the general vicinity. Turn it up, umpire.
No, it's a bad decision.
Kick out wide, looking for Lowe. Lockyer. Long way from home, Tarrant on the lead. Got Hudson that time. Tarrant will play on, centering ball to O'Brien. I'm not sure that was a good option. I know O'Brien has marked it with some heavy work being done as well. But Tarrant, certainly the goal kicker with length and his goal kicking capability. O'Brien probably hasn't got that. Oh, just a little open hand to just let O'Brien know that he's involved in a game of footy. From 50 metres out, kick on its way. It's going to be tight. Just testing his distance there on that occasion. O'Brien just asking the umpire, what about the 50? Trying to score the result. So scoreboard reads Collingwood 3-5-23, St Kilda 3-6-24.
Strange choice. Hamill now really having to work hard. Gehrig, hands and knees. Heath Scotland charges in. Stevie Lawrence head over the footy. Now he gets the handball to Gehrig and they're away. Aussie Jones over the top. This is Peckett. The run from the Saints has a bounce. He's got Lenny Hayes in board if he wants to use him. Eventually he goes there now, but the handball behind that player. Back to Peckett. Standing start kick. High ball to the hot spot. Milne has to beat two. On the ground he's a chance. Freeborn happy to concede.
Yeah, so it was lack of fluency again. I think they tried very hard, St Kilda, to get a go. Maybe just one handball too many.
Missed targets too, which makes it hard, doesn't it?
There we go with Alan Didak yet to touch the footy in this quarter. Fraser and Everett cloaked from behind. Thompson read it best. Stepped around, kick on the way. Wakeland tidies it up back there for the Pies.
Tried to put him in the sleeper hold there as well. He's claimed the mark. And Wakeland told by the umpire just to settle down a little. The last line of defence. Long ball. Rockers come a long way to provide an option. Hodgson got a fist there. Moyle. St Kilda through their forward 50. Jones, the multi-skilled Jones, has nailed it for the Saints. Their third of the quarter.
Just shows you the value of being able to kick the footy. You can have 18 blokes in your side who are hard at the footy. That's fantastic, and you need your team to be able to do that. But you just need to finish off the work. You need to be able to set play up. And Jones has kicked one himself and has set one up for Everett. And for all the hard work, you just need to be able to count on the scoreboard.
Yeah, it's a really good point. Aussie Jones has found his niche in the half-back line. Be time to start pushing him up the ground and maybe onto the ball.
7 points the margin to St Kilda, who have had the better of this clash so far. Fraser won it only as far as Thompson. Half forward now, the bouncing ball. Milne tried to trap it. Hamill. Ball ended up coming off his face. Thompson overran it. O'Brien picked it up. Leon Davis, the bounce fickle for him. Stewie Lowe, who's been good. That handball to Lenny Hayes into the bootstraps. He gets it back now. Stewie. And that kick's okay. Surely a free kick, if not a mark there to Aaron Hamill.
What's 50? Kept the ball.
The former Carlton star. Kick inside the 50. Very wide, looking for Spider Everett. Picks it up on the bounce. Handball's okay to Baker. His standing start shot. He's going to miss to the left. Thumped dangerously back into play. Aussie Jones can't pick it up. O'Brien steps nicely through traffic and then just thumps it to the outer side. The best result will be if the ball ends up going across the line. It does.
I think you'll find that Jones is now playing on the wing. He's moved up to the wing and probably taking Gary's point that he's going to be a bit more productive and a bit more creative there in the midfield for them.
O'Brien started on the bench. He's had 9 possessions to date, so he's had an effect.
All this quarter, Brian.
Ball out in the Freeborn direction. Black applying pressure. Freeborn able to advance the ball really well in the end. 30 metres along the boundary line and gain some ground. And it's been a real struggle here today. No side, as I mentioned, has kicked 2 goals in succession to this stage of the game. Nick Davis and Leon Davis warm up on the bench. There's the St Kilda trio. Del Santo in the middle. Ball knocked down. And Freeborn applies the tackle. We'll have another ball up.
Been dominant the throw-in clearances. Collingwood 7-1. Scotty Burns has been super productive in that area. He's taken the ball away on 3 occasions. Riewoldt yet to have a touch this quarter.
Stewie Lowe at his 320th game. Rocker. Once again gaining some ground. Lockyer kept it alive. Richardson. Begley. Smother affected by Tarkin Lockyer. And that's a nice gain for Collingwood as they work it ever so closely to their forward 50 line.
What they normally do at boundary throw-ins, Gary, I'm not too sure if they do it, especially in the back half. They like to have one or two players sit off the defensive end. Maybe if a third player come in that actually hits the ball into their nest of players.
Ball in dispute. Thompson, the captain of St Kilda today. Hayes. Gee, it's tight. There aren't too many loose balls to be got today.
Good tackling there, Brian, wasn't there? I mean, it is a dead set arm wrestle at the moment. Neither side giving any ground at all. And look, it can still be pretty intriguing. So we'd like to see some goals, but this happens.
Stewie Lowe, clean possession, then he's claimed. Tarkin Lockyer, handball to Burns, kicks it straight in to his direct opponent in Brodie Holland. Heath Black it was, and now we're going to do it all again. Rodney Eade, I imagine that Lee Matthews would have come up from Skilled Stadium and he'd be here watching as Collingwood are perhaps a first round final opponent, maybe even Mark Williams coming across from Perth. What would they be seeing with Collingwood, do you think?
Oh, well, that's probably not a great game to, I think, adjudicate on. And I don't think you take much out of it. That any side on any day can really play some good footy. I think Collingwood have proved that they can. They're just not putting it all together at the moment.
Stevie Lawrence over the ball, lucky to get away with it according to the Collingwood players.
Perhaps I can ask the question of you, Rodney. Is this a tactical situation that's brought this game about to be such a scrap, or is it just the way the game pans out?
I don't think there's a lot of tactics that are new in this game that's I think affecting the game. I think St Kilda like to get a lot of numbers around the ball, and you see the Collingwood players now trying to spread.
Scotland, one of those. Kick on the way from that player, right to the line. Thompson did well, held off Tarrant. There's some fisticuffs go on off the footy. The umpire just leaning over and saying, get up and get on with it.
He's got no right to tell him to get up if he saw.
Didak, the player involved. See it just to the right of screen here.
Well, it's silly by Jason Cripps. I mean, he got away with it, but he's given the umpire the opportunity to penalise his side and pay a goal.
Moyle, Lawrence, working on half back. Long handball over the top. Opens up for St Kilda here. Black with a penetrating run on centre wing. Ball into Spider Everett, couldn't mark it. Wakeland did well. Fraser working back across the half back line. Now Collingwood through Clement. Handball back to Cloak. Foot skills are the part of the game that lets him down at the moment. Rocker gained the ball and said, I'm going to charge through. Lockyer perhaps didn't have it. Umpire said he did. In fact, he had it too long. And a free kick going against Tarkin Lockyer there. Crowd not happy. All out the back door. Jones working it nicely across the half back line. Hutchton. There's space here for St Kilda. They can draw the man. Black in the middle. Good kick. Baker. Centre square. Driving ball. Everett the target. Oh, Collingwood player may have infringed. I think it was Wakeland on Hamill. It was, and Hamill will line up 25 to 30 metres out directly in front.
I think the thing, Brian, with the game is there have been a lot of fumbles, and there have been a lot of handballs and kicking skills that have missed targets, and I think that's sort of detracted from the game because it's a perfect conditions. I mean, there's the ground's great and the weather's great, but I think it's just a little bit of fumbling, a little bit of poor play from both sides at the moment.
This to make it the biggest lead of the game, 12 points. They lead by 6 at the moment. Aaron Hamill hasn't kicked a goal as yet. In fact, we haven't got a multiple goal kicker in the game. Hamill will line up 35 metres out, directly in front of the city end. Got a great look at it there. It's there. It's a goal. He's first. They lead by 12 points, St Kilda.
Well, I have remembered watching Collingwood play this year as a hard-running side who set up well out of the fence and moved the ball freely through the midfield and were able to hit targets on the lead in Tarrant or Rocker or Leon Davis even, or Didak. It's been so stop-start today. They've had no flow, they've had no run, they've looked really slow. I just think they've got to free themselves up somehow, whether it be mentally or whatever, but half-time becomes important.
Free kick down the field, Gary.
Free kick down the ground here after a goal being scored by St Kilda. They were coming back to the centre. It's against Maxie Hutchton down at the other end to Chris Tarrant, I think. No, it's to Alan Dynak. Here we go. There it is, right there. Savage blow, wasn't it?
Should they pay that?
Oh.
No.
No.
Ask me, I'll give you an answer.
Here's Dydak with the ball. Directly in front. Kick on the way. Number 2 for Dydak. And a much-needed goal for Collingwood.
Well, let's have a look now. Let's have a look now and see whether there is another one of these. Because if they are fair dinkum about it, they'll pick another one out here. But honestly, that's the same.
That's something Goff did something to Gehrig there, so it's a free kick.
Isn't it a case of walking up to those two players and saying, "Rightio, you blokes, I'm going to tell you once and once only. You get stuck into this sort of thing again, I'll start pinging you for a free kick."
It's a case of just throwing the ball in the air, Gary, and letting the game go on. The players will soon adapt their focus to where the ball is going.
Yes and no.
Yes and no. Kennedy there getting some advice from the runner, one would hope. Scotland. Burns. Lenny Hayes. Disputed ball in the middle, eventually won by Baker. Lawrence dodged a bullet. Voss from half back moves it forward. Peckett will be pressured from behind by Freeborn. 2-on-1 Fraser. Clean hands allowed him to pick the ball up. Johnson, this is better. That's what Gary spoke about, running football, carrying the ball forward in numbers. Kick around the corner was good. Scotland. Johnson. This is Collingwood's best passage of play in the game. Kick goes forward. Holland. Off hands Lacuria. Couldn't get hold of it. Baker in the end mops it up for the Saints.
Riewoldt backwards to Lawrence. The numbers now with the Saints out of sight. Over the top, Milne, dangerous kick. Good mark, Aussie Jones having a good game.
Well, you saw that happen. They did take a risk, Collingwood, and gave a handball when perhaps they wouldn't have early in the piece, and that is going to be their only way forward, I think.
Long delivery. Looking out there for Moyle. He did well to control it in the end. Numbers again with the Saints. Cripps has got it just outside the 50. Long high ball. Gehrig in the end almost able to take it. Now he picks it up, gets around, finds some space and misses. Well, it's well on the goal umpire.
That's a miss.
Yeah, it was. I thought for a second he was going to...
Because he didn't line himself up, the goal umpire, did he?
Can we keep the argument going with Max Hutchison and that free kick? Rocket, as a coach, what do you say to him? Isn't it a matter of saying, don't throw a stupid cheap one around the face area because you're going to give him an excuse?
Yeah, that's right. And you have to educate. There's no doubt Grant Thomas has done that, and no doubt all coaches have done that. You might want to push them in the chest because what's your cheap out anyway by your show of strength? It's not going to make Dydak play any worse by pushing him.
Well, exactly. I mean, it's, again, make yourself feel a bit better.
Loney, ball out wide, finds Johnson. Not long left in this second quarter, which has seen 3 goals to Collingwood, 4 to St Kilda, and a lead of 7 points for St Kilda. Everett will mark it on centre wing. Time will be against them. You get the feeling Spider knew that time was running out with the kick forward. Off hands Maguire. Thompson, the last opportunity. Johnson. And at half time, with a little bit of spite perhaps creeping into the game, frustration you may call it, St Kilda lead it at half-time by just 7 points. 5-7-37 to Collingwood 4-6-30.
Amongst it at the St Kilda change rooms. Boys, we've got a game on our hands.
Indeed we have. St Kilda by 7 points starting the third quarter, and they haven't sat down all half-time according to Michael Roberts. Riewoldt through the middle. Freeborn. A centre clearance goes Collingwood's way to their half-forward line. Rocker. Scotland dashes onto the ball. Little kick around the corner was very nice. And Tarrant takes a ripping mark.
It's exactly the start that they would have wanted, Collingwood. I think that, as we've mentioned at half-time, they've got to take some risks. They've got to run this football and try and give this fella here an opportunity to compete one out. And also Anthony Rocker, maybe long to the squeeze. Boys, we've got a game on our hands.
Indeed we have. St Kilda by 7 points starting the third quarter, and they haven't sat down all half-time according to Michael Roberts. Riewoldt through the middle. Freeborn. A centre clearance goes Collingwood's way to their half-forward line. Rocker. Scotland dashes onto the ball. Little kick around the corner was very nice. And Tarrant takes a ripping mark.
It's exactly the start that they would have wanted, Collingwood. I think that, as we've mentioned at half-time, they've got to take some risks. They've got to run this football and try and give this fella here an opportunity to compete one out. And also Anthony Rocker, maybe long to the square if nothing else is on. But a goal here would be the ideal start for the Maggies.
Tarrant, 30-metre kick, 45-degree angle. We've got a perfect look at it there. And he's just not running up to the man on the mark with any fluency. He looks very jittery and edgy as he kicks the ball. Minor score.
Brian, would that be due to confidence or due to his injury, do you think?
I reckon it's a confidence thing. Confidence thing. I'm not sure to how bad his injury is, but certainly a confidence thing the way he approached that.
So a behind to get us started in the second half. Aussie Jones kicks to himself, then threads a handball. Long out of the defensive 50. Parked behind Fraser Gehrig, and that was always going to be tough to outmark Anthony Rocker. He's going to go a bomb. Doesn't get onto it. Tumbling ball. Good mark, Stevie Lawrence. He's played well.
Good hand, Stephen Lawrence. That's twice now he's just gone clunk to balls that would be difficult to mark.
It's a low, chiselling ball to Stewie Lowe. Handball on the up. Nice to Lenny Hayes. Working down the outer side. Terrific mark. Riewoldt had a great first term. Quiet in the second. 7th mark for the match for Nick Riewoldt. He's got over 50 contested marks on the season. Long ball to half forward, and that was always set up well for Loney.
50 metres against Hamill.
Rightly so.
Running across the mark. Was it Garrick?
No, I think he was grabbing. It was running across the mark.
He pretended he was grabbing the player in front, but he certainly ran across the mark.
Absolutely right, gentlemen.
So Ryan Loney, not quite 50, I didn't think, from the umpire.
Lousy 50.
Only about 25 in the end. Fraser takes the ball. Inside the 50 again. Brodie Holland in some room. He goes with the low one to Tarrant. 2 marks to start the second half.
Already they look lively, don't they?
I'm not sure what his injury is, but he's covering the ground okay. And I mentioned early in the game that Hudson was playing Tarrant beautifully because he was taking the space in front of him. He would stand 10 metres in front, exactly where Tarrant would like to lead. On the last 2 occasions, he's been shoulder to shoulder, so he's going to have to readjust slightly, Maxie Hutchton.
32, his season tally. Chris Tarrant, none so far today. Kick on the way. That looks better. Goal to start the second half for the Pies.
Yeah, it sort of reminds me of the Matthew Richardson. I know he's not a Matthew Richardson type player, but we saw Matthew Richardson here about 3 weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, where he'd been struggling for form. His first half was okay, but he did work hard. Tarrant probably hasn't set the world on fire in the first half, but I thought he worked extremely hard, and now hopefully he's going to show some fruits of those hard work.
Stewie Lowe rocking the post there too. Collingwood have tied the ball game up 4 minutes into this third quarter. Fraser in the middle. Black tackled, had to get rid of it. Pressure. Cloak the loose man in defence for Collingwood. Now Lockyer's got it all in front of him here. He's got 2 St Kilda players to beat. He needs a good sit on the bounce. He decided that the boundary line would be the safest option. Boundary throw in right in front of the interchange area. You can see down the bottom of the screen. Fraser and Lowe. Lowe, 320 games, 592 goals for Big Stewie. And he'll give it away at the completion of this year. He's got 1.5 games to go in his footballing career. Del Santo and Scotland, 2 of the youngsters at the opposite end.
We're going to drive him into the turf for those remaining 1.5 games.
He's played all day on the ball today and allowed Spider to be up forward, just waltzing about. Begley, Lacuria. Some support from Peckett. Hamill wanted to go left. Surely will be penalised. And Cloak gets the free at half back.
Lacuria now with the ball. Long looking for Rocker. The 2 forwards starting to work for the Magpies. O'Brien inside the 50. Holland worried off the ball. Bouncing. Tarrant meets it. Beautiful pickup. The handball off to Tarkin Lockyer, round the body, terrific.
That was great play from Collingwood. What you mentioned earlier, Gary, was down here in the back pocket, back flank. Got the ball on quickly. Tried to get the ball quickly to Anthony Rocker. There was a spillage, but just continual movement of the ball. Tarrant attacked it. Good quick hands and a lovely kick.
All of a sudden, these two forwards find themselves with room to move because the blokes are getting the footy on quickly. It's as simple as that. Move the ball quickly, give them a chance.
3 straight goals, 2 in this third quarter, to Collingwood sees them all of a sudden in front by 1 goal. Thompson off the ground. Riewoldt, driving kick inside 50. Milnes in front, at the back Everett. Wakeland did wonderfully well. Strength, kick out wide. Collingwood got the numbers here as well. All of a sudden, as Gary has mentioned, the game opening up, especially at this end of the ground. Rocker put the claw up. Lowe responds. Jones and Garrick all combining. Del Santo, big raps on this young boy. Centering kick finds Hayes through the middle. Some fluency needed here. Cripps. Hayes. Don't want to be going sideways too wide. Thompson tries to straighten them up. O'Brien, good smother in the end.
He'll go and get it again too, Shane O'Brien. Not so sure about the handball. Riewoldt comes in to assist. Clement, well done. Long thumping ball for Tarkin Lockyer. Good mark.
3-on-1, James. He had to mark it, and he did.
They've lifted the Magpies, no question. Inside the 50 again for Tarrant. Well done, Baker. Broke it up. Stevie Lawrence, the handball. Fraser Gehrig getting involved. Lots of work to do for the Saints defenders at the moment. Aaron Hamill on a long lead.
Great chase by Tarrant back at the ball, though.
Wheels around now. Spider Everett's got to stand up in the forward half. Taken it. Got rid of his opponent with the old hip. And now a set shot on goal for Peter Everett.
That was very good play of Aaron Hamill. He wasn't too far up the ground. He led from just inside 50 and he gave the St Kilda defenders a target to kick to. In the past foray into the forward line, he was in the middle of the ground. And I think it was Hayes had to go like a crab, go sideways because he had no one to kick to.
Lead into their vision.
6th mark for Spider. And an important kick after 2 early goals in the second half for the Magpies. Kick on the way, looks good. An answer. 2nd on the board for Spider Everett.
What St Kilda need to do, Rod, is make sure they don't go into their shell. They've come out now in the third quarter. Collingwood with a bit more intent and they're running it a bit harder and they're a bit more aggressive. Well, St Kilda can't go into the shell here. They need to also move this footy quickly and continue to take the game on. The minute they go negative, they're in trouble. Spider would like more of that supply. 1 out.
Spider Everett kicks his 2nd goal and the Saints draw level. In the middle, Fraser. They look purposeful in this quarter, Collingwood. No doubt, Tarrant. Hodgson, they look lively. Gehrig in defence, being forced to work overtime in the early part of this third quarter. Baker takes, in fact, Jones takes Lockyer on. Around, no problem. Beautiful pick up there by Hamill. Releases the handball to Black under the pump. Collingwood applying the pressure. Hamill just went and got the hard one. It was brilliant. You heard Gary in the background. Hayes, driving ball to centre half forward. Good spot. They fly. Crummers needed. None for St Kilda. 1 for Collingwood and Loney onto Wakeland. Taking the ball through the middle of the ground. McGough onto Lucuria. Lucuria ball forward to Tarrant, wrestling with Hodgson. Over the back, Jones will be happy to see it over, you think?
I think the point, Gary, is both sides are starting to open it up. I mean, both sides are moving the ball quickly, and it was good play from Collingwood. Unfortunately, a bit of a poor kick from Paul Lucuria coming into Tarrant.
It's the inside 50 count. The Pies lead it. No lead on the scoreboard. It's all tied up. Baker just got it nicely on Lenny Hayes. The linking running being done by Baker, but he goes backwards to Black. Hamill, who did some terrific work earlier on with the body, gets the footy into the centre. Spider Everett, as Gary Lyon mentioned, wanting it one out and getting it one out at the moment. 55 out, left foot high ball. 1-on-2 situation. And Scotty Burns, as he has done for his whole career, comes back with eyes only for the footy. Thumps it across the line. The Saints up by a point.
I think the Collingwood defenders are very good once the ball's kicked to leave their opponents to go and help their teammates. They make a 2-on-1, a 3-on-2 contest all the time. So that's why St Kilda honestly need to get the ball in quick. If they don't, there's going to be too many Collingwood players there.
So St Kilda all of a sudden have just slowed Collingwood down a touch in the last minute or two of the game. Stopped the bleeding to a certain degree. Peckett, and they've hit the front by a point.
They've both got to win the game, Brian. I think that's why we're going to see some more entertaining footy. You can see St Kilda have had a lot more of the footy, but Collingwood now got to come out and win it. They can't save it, they've got to go and win it. So we'll see some better footy, I'm sure.
Pope knocked it out wide. Peckett pushed off by Burns. He's got support running behind him, Licuria. As Licuria just tucks the ball, says they'll have a bounce and get through the midfield. Beautiful kick to Tarrant, and Tarrant leads, pushing one arm into Hodgson's chest and marking. 52 metres out, it's a long ball, it's a great ball. Tarrant's kicked 2 goals.
It's fantastic to see a player run and carry the ball. Paul Licuria then breaking the lines, where the first half Collingwood weren't doing that. They were very stagnant when we spoke. They tried to hit targets all the time. Without Buckley there, they need players to be able to run through the line. Paul Licuria broke that up, and another great lead and a good kick.
It's what we did not see at all in the first half. And, well, the Saints, they don't want to just go down here by 2 or 3 goals. They just got to attack the game as well.
A sight to warm the hearts of all Magpies fans. Chris Tarrant, a bomb from outside the 50, and the Magpies back in front. Hamill, bullocking work. Lawrence, handball over the top. Lenny Hayes just couldn't control the footy. Now Cloak claimed when he didn't have it and will get a free kick.
Yes, we'll have a look at this one again. Yeah, it's a free kick.
14-7, the free kick count. Collingwood enjoying a nice little rub with the men in white. Cloak goes the members' side with a nice ball. Josh Fraser ends up with it.
It's been a lot more committed leading to the footy by Collingwood in this third quarter. I think they've made some sort of a pledge. They're going to present up to the ball, make space behind them.
It's a high ball. Numbers coming from everywhere to that marking contest. Max Hodgson. Peckett wheels around. Hamill working back. Good kick. Xavier Clark.
Almost ends up back on the bench. Xavier Clark in his attempt to mark that ball close to the boundary line. Everett worked his way in front nicely. Off hands Begley. Licuria there just to make sure there was no easy ball one, and we'll have a boundary throw in. So the scoreboard, Collingwood 7-7-49, leading St Kilda 6-8-44. They've kicked 3 goals to St Kilda's 1 in this third quarter. Tarrant, his form looks ominous the way he's presenting in this third quarter as well. Hamill, the standing start, delivers the high ball. Leon Davis has to run at it. Peckett did well. Clark, Spider Everett, his favoured left foot, turns around. That is a brilliant kick. Spider has kicked 3, 2 of them in this third quarter.
That was great play by Justin Peckett. Leon Davis was just sitting under it, going to take an easy mark. Very easy to give a free kick away in that situation, Gary. And he did a very good job. Turned around, made sure there wasn't a free kick. Gave a great contest. Young Xavier Clark, terrific handball and a great kick. At the moment, too, that Aussie Jones has been playing on Lockie and they've been on a wing. What Collingwood have done, put Lockie in the forward line, so taking Jones out of the midfield.
Saints get it back to a point. Lead over the Magpies. Much better footy in the third term here at the MCG. O'Brien claimed high, according to the umpire. Collingwood with the clearance. He goes to the outer side. McGough worked under it by Peckett. Instrumental in that last goal, as you heard from Rodney Eade. Around the corner now. Lenny Hayes getting involved. Lawrence has been good. Along the line to Thompson. Well done, Burns, with a fist in there to break it up.
Been a great battle, Thompson and Burns. Have been together for most of today. Thompson had 10 possessions. Burns has had 13.
Stewie Lowe, a lot of the ruck work for him. Peckett, just a little untidy. Now Milne with a high ball. Try marking that. Begley on the ground, unable to get it. Burns did well. Johnson now. High to half forward. They come from all directions, and the mark's paid. Is it going to end up with Lawrence?
Free kick, I reckon, against Brodie Holland.
Okay.
Thought he was
To Black.
Anthony Rocker.
So Black's going to end up with the ball after he gets the boots sorted out. Much, as I mentioned, more free-flowing and entertaining brand of football in this third term from both clubs. Heath Black long to a contested situation. Riewoldt there, got hands to it but couldn't hang on. Begley, clever, just eased it over the top. Ozzie Jones now running forward to the 50. Long flying shot on goal from Ozzie Jones. Yes! Great finish. Jones has kicked 2.
That's exactly why they try to drag him to half-back, Rocket, because up on the wing across the midfield, he's devastating when he can go forward.
Yes, and watch the advantage of Riewoldt contesting the ball close to 50, and great vision from Begley. Terrific kick, and that's an even a better kick.
He had to kick it, didn't he? Because Milne was calling for it inside the forward 50 out in front of goals, but backs himself in, having the confidence.
Two in a row for the Saints, 2 to Ozzie Jones. They're in front by 7 points, St Kilda, and they've kicked 3 of the last 4 goals, all inside about 8 minutes. Kick inside Collingwood's attacking 50. Tarrant has presented, quick hands Rocker, left foot snap would be a beauty. Across the face, boundary line.
At that last centre bounce, that Hammer went into the centre square, and it was followed by Cloak, which is an interesting matchup on the ball.
It is an interesting matchup. You would think that Aaron Hamill would know his way around that middle of the ground a bit better than Jason Cloak.
Forward pocket for Collingwood. Rocker, bit of pushing. Shot over the shoulder. And he's gone out of bounds on the full. If it's gone out at all, Hutchton marked it right on the line.
So Maxi to ease a bit of pressure for St Kilda, who have absorbed some in the early stages of this second half. The Magpies came hard at them, and they've answered the challenge so far. Riewoldt pushing and shoving. Eventually got hands to it. Milne read it beautifully and just stretches past Fraser. Look at the leg speed on Milne, but look at Fraser, stay with him. High ball to Begley. Good mark.
Good run and carry though.
Over the top, he's going to get it back. Milne now around the corner. Voss one out, takes the mark. Wonderful football from Stephen Milne. Voss is going to play on, and he squares it to Baker, who's about 40 out directly in front.
That was one of the best individual efforts I've seen for a long time. It's like the soccer sweeper down the deep, that he's down deep back, carried the ball, laid it off.
Highlight of this game, wasn't it?
It was
Fantastic.
great, and Josh Fraser deserves a pat on the back too. He didn't turn it up. In fact, he stayed with him. He just couldn't make any ground up.
So Baker, the set shot, it deserves a goal, and it gets it. No, just on the line.
Touch off the boot, play on.
So Wakeland goes sideways to Burns, and the Magpies dodge a little bullet.
Oh, this would hurt if Collingwood would score at the other end now. Clement's got the field in front. Lawrence trying to get back now and block the hole up. Lockyer couldn't mark off hands, so they're okay. Jones, kick missed its intended target. Clement comes in, support there from Lucuria. Not much of it, but it was there. Perhaps just in voice. Lucuria once again tucks the ball under the arm. We saw him do this just a moment ago. Rodney Eade commented on it. Kick forward to Tarrant, not quite as effective. Hutchton, game opening up now. He's got Hamill running in support. Hutchton takes another bounce. Back inside. They go forward. Everett's on the lead. Clark controlled it. Keeps his feet. Spinning pirouette move. Chance to score would be brilliant. Not on this time.
Just like to go back to that Brett Voss mark. I know that Stephen Baker kicked off the ladies' tee and it didn't make the distance, but I think Brett Voss from a 45-degree angle, 20 metres out, should have had a shot for goal.
Turnover sees Peckett with the ball. Tries to drill it to Milne. misses the ball entirely, and it stumbles across the line for a behind. Another one. Sorry, Rocket, continue.
I finished. Thanks, James.
Well, you talk about a game opening up. We'll get the bounces in this quarter compared to what happened in the first half. There have been some big individual runs. There's been plenty of room to work in.
Loney comes members side. Fraser works it to the front. And we'll have a boundary throw in.
Yeah, Xavier Clark, a little bit of individual magic there. The goal would have been a great one. But, yeah, coming to the interchange bench. A bit of a sit down.
Stewie Lowe, as is Xavier Clark,
Good
making
hit.
his way from the ground. There's Black, picks it up, round the corner with the left foot. Missing to the right-hand side, another behind. St Kilda have now kicked 10 of them.
Half of the bounces that both of these sides have had have come in this quarter, so they're certainly running the football a lot more efficiently.
Jason Cripps lying down there on the St Kilda bench as the Courier received the kick in. Takes a bounce before he's even taken a step. Couple more. 3 in total now, and he can go another if he wishes. So you talk about running bounces, Gary. The Courier had 4 just in that piece of play off hands. Lockyer to control the ball. The little quick give to Rocker on his non-preferred side. The centering ball. Tarrant the danger. St Kilda have got 2 there to defend. One of those was Lowe. And Maxie Hudson applauds Stewie Lowe. Says, thanks, mate. I was in real trouble there. Boundary throw in deep in Collingwood's forward 50.
Wonderful campaigner Stewie Lowe's been for the Saints over the years. Hasn't had a lot of team joy to sing about, but he's butted up every week. Riewoldt to the front. Dangerous ball here for the Saints. O'Brien can close on it. Claimed in a tackle, gets out of it. Swings around on the left. High ball now. Gehrig parked under it, probably should have done better. Picked up by Tarrant, then he spills it. Runs into the Voss tackle. Low on the ground. Disputed ball. Holland looking for a free. They're going to have to get the footy out of there eventually. You would have thought the umpire lets it go for a long time. Now we'll have a bounce.
That last boundary throw on Nick Riewoldt, you just got to be careful coming over the top and just punching the ball anywhere, because it's right close in the back pocket, and it just went back into the corridor. It really opened up Collingwood.
Genuine chance here for the Pies. They trail by 9 points. We've played 22 minutes in the third. Rocker, brilliant smother Lawrence. Been really good today, Lawrence. Throwing himself at every contest that's come his way. St Kilda out of defence. Work it with the aid of handball. Aussie Jones. Long ball. Getting some numbers back. And Cloak is marked on centre wing. A lot of St Kilda numbers behind the ball at the moment, which is giving them great support in that last line of defence. McGough through the midfield. Centering ball to Clement is good. What does he see downfield? Nothing yet. He waits. Patience needed for something to present. Kick in the direction of Rocker. Juggling attempt. Not quite there. He's fighting hard. Rocker somehow that come out tunnel ball fashion to Didak. Kicked the first goal of the game. It's been marked on the line by Fraser. I thought it was almost over.
Josh Fraser was standing out there to the best part of 30 seconds on his own. That's where the original footy should have been directed.
Fraser with a difficult shot. He'll banana it. Right foot banana across the face. Kicked it out of bounds on the full or a point. It's the latter. So they get it within 8 points. Collingwood at the 24.25-minute mark of this third quarter.
I think your favourite player, Brian, Stephen Lawrence there, should take a bow as well, because Anthony Rocker on the lead. Dropped the mark only because of the physical presence of Steve Lawrence, who was prepared to back.
And doesn't like him, Brian. No doubt about that.
Aussie Jones. Low one. Bad one. Turns it over. O'Brien went. And it's claimed from behind, and now he's holding the ball. Pies fans don't like it. How's that for hitting a target? Begley. Good mark out of side. Game's lifted a couple of cogs. Hamill to fly here, 2 to beat. Rocker, one of them. Got some space on the members' side for Heath Scotland. Look at McKee. All sorts of room. He's ignored. They go more direct. Lockyer's got it. Slides the handball over the top to Burns. Inside the 50. Left foot. Long. And straight. Wait on the goal umpire. Got it.
Well, that is a reward for hard running to Scott Burns. I watched him in the middle of the ground. I think he had his hand in the air, which tends to catch your eye. And I watched him run through the middle. He ran past 3 St Kilda players going forward. Fraser Gehrig was one of them. And I think Big Buckets might be blowing pretty hard as well, Stewie Lowe. So he's going to come to the bench and have a spell. Went right to the line, right to the wire. Good position by the umpire there. They may just have a bit more run in their legs at the moment, the Pies.
So all of a sudden, Collingwood find some spark and they trail by just 2 points after the Scott Burns goal. Time left in the quarter, 2.5. It's been close all day. 5 points St Kilda's favour at quarter time, 7 points at half time. And we've got a 2-point ball game in favour of the Saints right now with 2.5 minutes left in the third. Lawrence and Jones. Pressure. Gehrig, Lawrence again. Backs back, sums up his option. Beautifully done. Poise. Out in the Hayes direction. Set up the nice run. Hamill presentation was perfect. And he marks. 60 metres out. I think too far for him to carry the goal line from here. So the centering ball is on. Riewoldt the danger man here. In front though was the smaller player of Clement, I think.
With Everett on the ball, I'd like to see Hamill take Cloak to the goal square and give him 5 or 10 minutes as 10 minutes as a leading full forward.
Scotland a good mark. Now the numbers in the run with Collingwood. Burns high. Not the best option. Thumped away from Holland by Voss across the line. Boundary throw in. Let's go down to the boundary line with Dr. Peter Larkins.
Yeah, Josh Fraser did come to the bench with a blood nose. Probably a rotation anyway with McKee coming on to do some ruck work. And also Stewie Lowe, pretty sore. The doctors had a word with him when he came off. He was blowing hard, as you said, but probably we'll see him there the last quarter for this game. So critical.
McKee and Everett. McKee to the front. Burns has his kick smothered. Heads back in there to try and do it all again. And the umpire will come in and bounce the ball.
All right, who's brave enough here to predict the win from here? What do you think? Is it going to go down to the wire at this rate?
I would think so.
Yeah, certainly at this rate it will. I think Gary called. It depends who's got the run on the legs.
No one is the answer to your question, Brian.
I noticed that.
Spider Everett, the roundhouse. McGough off the ground. Aussie Jones, probably the first time he's torched the footy today.
I think the Saints are going like the winners, Brian.
Good, Gary. Step to the line. That's what I like to see.
Are you going to reciprocate?
I think your judgment there is wrong. I think Collingwood might just get there, but who would know?
Surprise me.
We are guessing, aren't we?
We are indeed.
Because this game has been on and off all day. And really, it's a side that can probably put a good quarter of football together in the end that's going to win it, and that's hard to judge. Burns. Minute left. Collingwood trail by 2 points. The Collingwood crowd in the background, pensive. Look at them in anticipation. Kick wide. Pick the wrong option a few times in this quarter. Scott Burns, I think, twice in just recent time as Hayes took a nice mark. Delivery good to Black. Last opportunity here for the Saints. Kick wide, Lawrence.
Go, Steve.
Moving forward nicely. Kick on its way, Hamill direction, picked it up smoothly. 20 seconds remaining in the game. Centering kick, Riewoldt over the back of the pack. Maguire picks it up, left foot snag to put the Saints in front by 8 points at three-quarter time. Maguire's got his first.
Maguire putting Collingwood under pressure. Unheard of. There was a good effort. There was a lovely snap in actual fact. And that man, Lawrence, across half back, has been very, very good indeed.
He's been terrific, hasn't he? Very slow to get onto it, Maguire, but it was a terrific kick on the wrong foot.
It's a nice finish, and actually, on a low-scoring game, the sneak one in the dying moments of the third quarter could prove vital.
So, with 5 seconds remaining, there'll be no more score added in this game, you wouldn't think. Freeborn, handball over the top, not even time for Lucuria, who had a good third quarter. St Kilda, very good in the end. They kicked 4 goals Collingwood also kicked 4 in that third quarter, and the result sees St Kilda in front by 8 points at three-quarter time. Mick Malthouse, followed by his coaching staff, coming down to issue final instructions at three-quarter time. It's the Saints 9-10-64, Collingwood 8-8-56.
The receiving end of one of Mick's best, according to Brian Taylor. Let's see how he responds.
8 points, the stretch. We're into the final term. Hamill been very good. The Saints with the first clearance. Cloak, as we've seen him do so often this year, ducked back as that roving defender. Got it to Johnson. Long ball, members wing. Lucuria picks it up around the corner, did very well. Josh Fraser had to stop and wait for it. Now he goes to O'Brien. Thought about delivering and then did well to Scotland, just outside the 50.
Stewie Lowe, a long way from Josh Fraser. He looks to be labouring a little bit, Stewie. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to go with the big fella here. Fraser could just drop into the hole here.
Heath Scotland goes to Fraser. You heard it first from Gary Lyon.
You just can't concede ground like that. Stewie Lowe contested the ruck, saw which way it was going, and then automatically ran to the goal square, and effectively just left Josh Fraser as a free player in the middle of the ground.
There's a few Saints players limping. It's interesting, Thompson started in the back pocket on Brodie Holland, and Heath Black's got a bit of a limp up as well, so whether they can run the game out.
3 behinds, 1 behind on the match for Josh Fraser. Set shot, an important kick here. Give the Pies a great start. It's not going to work. In fact, it's not going to register a score. Dangerous ball bouncing back through the square. Ozzie Jones picks it up and clears the area. Long ball. Was a very good kick. Begley unable to complete the mark. Now Moyle around the corner. Only as far as O'Brien. And his left foot ball missed its target as well. So some skill errors early in the final term. Baker with the footy now for the Saints.
In the middle, he's got a loose packet on. Marks closed him down. Lockyer.
Loose packet.
Packet. Talking about loose, Gary. It's been very loose all weekend as Cripps in the middle of the ground. Driving kick forward. Collingwood through Cloak have marked. So what will we get in this last quarter? Ball out wide. I don't think St Kilda have won all 4 quarters in a game this year. Can they do it here? Nick Davis has got a piece of it. Kick to Rocker. Tarrant. All the big names are there. Cripps. Jones combines to get the ball out of the danger zone. He's found Stuart Lowe. Lawrence over the top. St Kilda mounting a challenge here as they bring it through that centre wing area on the southern stand side. Big jump by Wakeland. May have infringed. Umpire deemed he was going for the ball. Bounced out of the tackle. Milne missed. One today, Stevie Milne, and there's another behind for the St Kilda forward.
Yeah, didn't touch the ball here, Shane Wakeland, at all. No free kick. I think it was a correct decision.
Spider might have the cauliflower ear, Gaz.
He may very well.
Johnson now's got it. A couple of bounces. Long ball. Milne's going to come back hard. Great mark. That's a terrific mark.
Yep.
Just going to say, Gary's had a very good game. Really committed football from him. Thompson running through the middle and running hard. The delivery to Spider. Thumped away. Well done, Prestigiacomo. Milne comes in. Begley tries to handball when he had one arm pinned, and that was always going to be tough.
That's Aaron Hamill's opponent, Jason Cloak, coming up for possession number 3. That's the only problem with him pushing up the ground and taking terrific marks like that. Someone's got to make him accountable.
Not sure what's going on here. There's a free kick
downfield, James, to Didak.
Okay, so Alan Didak, right on the sponsor's logo, will bang the Pies inside the forward 50. Long ball. Tarrant coming out. Lawrence coming back with the flight. No free kick. Around the corner goes Lawrence. And Peckett's got it at half-back for the Saints.
I get the feeling that he had a bit of intimidation again from Lawrence there. Kicking the midfield Thompson. Tarrant just getting back to his feet now in the hands of the trainer there, as you see. Kick in the midfield in the meantime. Collingwood have managed to turn it over. Nick Davis already had a couple of touches in this third quarter. Takes them on. Ran to his non-preferred side. Realised Couldn't achieve it from there. Rocker looking to get some freedom with the long kick. Out wide, Nick Davis will mark it. Just inside the boundary line.
And I've seen him kick goals from this very position. Nick Davis is the sort of player that would fancy himself from here.
Nick Davis, 50 metres out, right on the picket fence. In he comes. It's drifting left to right. It needs a bit more. It's a behind. It's the minor score there for Collingwood. And Nick Davis, it's a good sign. Let's have a look at the Tarrant incident. Just Stevie Lawrence running at the contested ball there, James, was enough.
Sure, there was any contact there at all, was there?
Just to get his eyes taken off the ball is what I meant.
No, I know what you meant. I was just wondering from a Chris Tarrant perspective whether there was any contact to his scone. Anyway, the footy's outside of the 50. Burns claimed, no free. Lucuria did well. Scotland did well. Did really well. Left foot shot's not going to get the journey. Steve Lawrence takes the mark.
There's 3 votes so far, isn't he?
Sure, I believe someone's giving him.
Baker, the short option. Short in stature and short in distance from the kicker. That's a very nice mark too to Heath Black. Didn't like something that Ryan Loney said or did. Inboard he goes. Cripps, handball off to Thompson, shrugs the Fraser tackle. High to half forward, Riewoldt one out, edged under the ball. Now he sets a task for Cloak. Good strong tackle there from Nick Riewoldt. Will have a bounce. Dr. Peter Larkins.
Yeah, just watching that Chris Tarrant incident again, guys. He really just headbutts the ground with the back of his head as he comes off there, and took it slow to get up because he was a bit dazed, and they're just obviously letting clear the head and run around. Hopefully he'll be right again. Just whacks the back of the head.
Yep, good get, Doc. Beautifully done. Holland off and Richardson on for the Pies.
Great pick up by the Doc.
He's an expert in his field.
With Richardson coming on, that's forced Thompson, who was on Holland, and he's been replaced. That was Stuart Lowe in the back pocket.
Offhand spinning move there by O'Brien. Releases Wakeland to drive the ball long. Now Collingwood have got 2 here. Didak will mark. Nick Davis did well to make a block from behind. He gets up, runs onto his favoured left foot, not beyond him from here. 55 metres out, long ball low. Minor score. 7-point ball game in favour of St Kilda.
Again, you've got to know the opposition, and Alan Didak always prone to doing that, to running on and having a shot from well outside 50. Had to work the mark a little bit harder, the St Kilda opponent. Richardson on low with fresh legs would be a concern for the Saints.
The Suns are concerned for Aussie Jones as he looks to the members' side. He'll go in short to Hutchton. Kick ended up finding its target. Max waving a couple of teammates off. His kick needs to be good too. Fraser Garrick just outside his own 50. He takes the mark. That's not his best. In search of Riewoldt. Ball bounces across the line. And there'll be a boundary throw-in. He's had bursts today, Nick Riewoldt. He was superb in the first term. Had some patches in the third where he had an influence. Been quiet for the rest of the time. Lucuria around the body. And that's going to tumble across the line as well for another boundary throw-in.
Maguire on for that very reason, Rocket, to go down and play on Richardson.
He was very slow to run off from the bench because Richardson was by himself, and Garrick left Richardson to go to Lowy, to go to Rocker. And Maguire was just walking. If that kick had been okay, Richardson would have been all by himself 30 metres clear.
Thompson came off for Maguire. Low. Scotland. Clean hands there, so let's check the score here. St Kilda 9-11-65 leading the Pies 8-10-58. 7-point advantage St Kilda's way. We've played almost 9 minutes in this final term. Hasn't been more than a goal or goal and a half in it all day. Rocker trying to get it over the back. Low kept it to the front as you do in defensive end of the ground. Moyle, Jones. Didn't have much room to work with. Fraser attacks the ball. Rocker support. Free kick, St Kilda Moyle.
Yes, I think that free kick was there.
Hamill and Rocker at it.
Hand off, Aussie Jones. A couple of bounces as the speedster works his way down the member's wing. Thumps it long, looking for Riewoldt. That player will take it on the bounce. Gave up the handball to Cloak. He handballed to himself. Gets a Shepherd assist from Loney. Around the body, Hamill. Johnny on the spot.
That St Kilda have done this very well with Hamill. I'll explain it later once we have a break.
Inboard to Baker. Baker goes long now. Riewoldt out of position. And Clement took the mark back there. Go Rocket.
And consequently, because Fraser now has come off, what Collingwood would like to do is have their ruckman play spare in defence. So Hamill, as the ruck rover, went and picked Fraser up. So it was a match between Hamill and Fraser up in St Kilda's forward line. Collingwood weren't happy with that, tried to get Cloak onto him, but Cloak's too tired to be able to run with Hamill at the moment. So now what they've been forced to do, they've taken Fraser off.
Good crowd today, just over the 42,000 mark. Ball on centre wing, southern stand side of the ground. Back out of the pack, Lawrence, Nick Davis. Lockyer wrapped up in the tackle, handball off the Courier. Long release to Nick Davis, a chance to run inside 50. He set sail. He had nothing else in his mind but the goal. Nick Davis.
Well, that is what Nick Davis is capable of. He's a goal kicker. He does finish very, very nicely. And he stayed in the contest here. The nice supply from Paul Lecurier. And look, this is outside 50. That's clinical. It's a beautiful finish. And he enjoyed it too. He's had a pretty lean afternoon, Nick Davis.
The Saints lead it by the barest margin. Midway through the final term, a game that was slow out of the blocks is really starting to build. Stewie Lowe, almost clean possession. Voss claimed. And the secondary bounce.
Jason Cloak cramped up. We saw him play a couple of weeks ago on a Friday night. Cramped up, had to cover a lot of ground, and he's got the socks down across half back. He's been very good early in this last quarter. He looks very weary.
Clement with the fist. Scotland further afield. Rocker tried to get the quick give out of there. Baker to Ozzie Jones. High ball wide to Cripps. They've got the numbers if they can keep the footy in here. Cripps does in the end, a little clumsily. Long kick to a one-on-one situation out there with Voss. Thumped across the line, boundary throw-in. Glenn Freeborn, the other player involved, the former premiership player for the Kangaroos. McKee and Lowe. Stewie almost claimed it, and then keeping it in and doing it well was Black. Begley this is. Sideways to Cripps. Handball off to Riewoldt. Inside the 50. Spider against two. Big fly. Got the hands to it. The recovery not all that he would have liked, and Prestigiacomo did beautifully and got it to Wakeland.
Wakeland's away. He's got the support run of Johnson out wide. Ben Johnson. Kick over the head. Lecurier needs a good bounce. Picked it up beautifully. Handball off to Lockyer. He's a goal kicker. He can kick a long way. Kick off the side this time. He had Tarrant on the lead and others out. But he also had a shot at goal. And so all of a sudden, we've got a 65-point apiece ball game. Nick Davis, 4 possessions in this last quarter, 3 inside 50s and 1 goal. After being spoken to by Nick Malthouse at 3/4 time.
Ozzie Jones, big fly out there from Voss. Couldn't control it. Over the top, Thompson. They're away, the Saints. Here's Black with the footy. Long inside the 50. Spider Everett in best position. Couldn't control it in the marking situation. Got the handball off. Hamill, well tackled. Great tackle from Wakeland. And we'll have a bounce.
Shane Wakeland, he's been heroic in the last 2 contests. That's Brett Voss had to get a hand to that. Would have been a free kick. 41-31 the tackle count Collingwood's way. But gee, Wakeland's been good in the last couple of minutes.
65 points apiece. St Kilda forward 50. Lenny Hayes, support from Cripps in the way of a Shepherd. Lowe says, I'll tidy it up and then feed it out. He did just that. Ozzie Jones, he's got good foot skills. He lines up from 52. Whitish this time, the bounce. Favours Wakeland. He was flat-footed.
Some tired players, Brian.
Indeed, Gary. Johnson out of defence to half-back and space with Lockyer.
Tarkin Lockyer. Handball inboard. A lot on the line here for the Pies. You want to shore up a top 4 berth. Stephen Lawrence in front of Nick Davis took that very nicely. Handball off to Gehrig. Players all on their own out of side here for St Kilda. If they can get it and go. Milne, a bounce. And then a look away handball that didn't work. Begley comes in to tidy it up for St Kilda. Pies fans want holding the ball, but I think the bounce was the correct decision from the umpire.
Stephen Milne there, you just saw the very best and the very worst.
So a deadlock. Final term MCG on a Sunday. On the ground, picked up by Freeborn, thumped back in the Low direction. In fact, Low and Riewoldt in that marking situation. Tough to get past those two.
I think you'll find that Riewoldt's gone back onto Tarrant. Maxie Hutchinson has gone forward now.
It's a big move, that. I don't know whether I've seen Max kick too many goals in his very, very good career.
Cripps under pressure. Handball over the top, Riewoldt. Nice run. Everett trying to get it too deep. McKee, free kick.
That was against Aaron Hamill in the marking contest, and it looked to be a genuine contest from where I sat.
Let's have a look at it. Indeed it did. Gary, you're quite right.
Soft.
Johnson out wide. Clement. A draw really of no benefit to either side here today. Lockyer. Kick to Rocker. Didn't sit quite the way he wanted. Richardson makes ground. And Aussie Jones just makes sure that the boundary line arrived. So it's inside Collingwood's attacking 50. We've just had the one goal kicked in this last quarter. It's been Nick Davis. Look at the handballs there. St Kilda have had plenty in that department, and the kicks just about even. Low. Jones. Drawing handball over the top. Hayes. The leading hardball getter for the Saints this season. Hamill. Handball off back to Hayes. He's run well. Now at half forward, Milne looks the danger here. Got a bit of a jump on Johnson. Did really well. Ben Johnson to bring that ball to the ground under enormous pressure. The kick is good to McKee.
McKee, twice he thought about going. Now he does. The kick into the centre, good for Scotland. Questionable handball. Lucuria stripped to the footy. In real trouble, Paul Lucuria. Begley picks it up. Goes backwards to Thompson. High left foot delivery. Just ignored Spider. Ball on the ground. A lot on the line, as I mentioned. Milne. Handball off to Thompson. He gets the handball off. This is Wolf. Wolf with the short ball. Okay to Baker. No, hasn't carried the distance. Baker now has got to get rid of the ball.
There's been some mistakes in the past minute from both sides and umpires.
And umpire, that one of Paul Lucuria, he just dropped it absolutely red hot.
Grant Thomas in the box there. Doesn't that picture tell 1,000 stories, Brian?
Thumping headache.
Yeah, I reckon it was. Tarkin Lockyer breaks clear. Inside the 50. Tarrant on a long lead. Almost took it. Nick Davis standing left foot start. Missed the line.
Ryan's boy, Steve Lawrence, is rolling the dice on that occasion. Went back and had a 2-on-1 contest left. Nick Davis, his opponent, standing on his own.
Lawrence short ball, be intercepted by Didak. Rocker working hard. Didak, he's dangerous. Little left foot top, over the top. Nick Davis. Support Burns. They keep it alive, Collingwood. Got Lockyer on. Handball to Nick Davis to kick 2 in the last quarter.
Max.
Davis has got 2. Collingwood are in front by a goal.
It's not a fair game. It's not a fair game, is it? Steve Lawrence has been terrific all day. Unfortunately made a mistake with a kick out in this pocket, and with some good coverage from Max Hutchinson. Terrific.
He makes a fatal mistake of leaving Davis on his own and gacking a 2-on-1 on Burns.
Yeah, knowing the change was going to him. Yeah.
He was fantastic, Max, and then just lost where he was at.
Those fans there are pumped because the Pies have hit the front. Nick Davis, after a withering burst from his coach at 3/4 times, come on and kicked a couple. Stewie Lowe. The clearance looks like it's going to go the Saints' way. Not able to control it cleanly. There was Maguire, and he gets the kick to half forward. Begley, again, just not able to be clean with the ball. Collingwood starting to gather some momentum. Cloak taken crudely to the ground. by Riewoldt. No free kick.
Getting into a bad habit, Jason Cloke. They're just throwing their head back at the moment, and if you're the coaching staff at Collingwood, you'd pull him aside, drag the tape out, show him 6 or 8 instances today. So forget about that, son.
To the front, McKee did well. Thompson did better. His kick, the inverted torpedo, is only ever going to find Cloke, and he ended up getting it to Burns. Burns pumps it back to the wing. Richardson almost. Cripps in the tackle. They'll have a bounce.
4.5 minutes remaining. Collingwood by a goal. Nick Davis has set them alight in this last quarter with the only 2 goals for either side. Jason Cripps looking a little tired. Lowe has shouldered the ruck responsibilities of just about the total time of the game today. Hayes running around the back door. Cripps, not a hard bouncing ball to pick up. He did it well. Kick forward. Freeborn under it. Knock back. Prestigiacomo. Perhaps a free. Lacuria. Thompson should intercept. Burns the tackler. Leon Davis some support. Ball pin to him. Ben Johnson's done well in this last quarter. A couple of times on nil deep in St Kilda's forward line as well.
Good effort, Thompson. Sorry, Burns.
Low. Scrimmage forms. No winner in that. Now 3.5 minutes left. So it's got to happen now.
Just look
for the Saints.
more dangerous, Brian. You look at Collingwood's forward line, you see Tarrant one out with heap of space. You look up the other end, it's a lot of bodies in St Kilda's forward line.
Richardson wins it down. Leon Davis lurking. Maguire, high ball. Hamill being held, surely. No free kick. McKee just goes off the ground, thumps it to the outer side. Didak leads in the race. Peckett's got him. Peckett did very well. Players going at the man rather than the ball. Allowed Didak just to pick it up and thump it with the left boot long. Maguire, good mark. Lawrence with the run in his legs. Peckett in some space. Last roll of the dice time almost for the Saints. High ball to half forward. Stewie Lowe just couldn't hang on to the mark. And Wakeland with some composure to strip it away. Scotland now on the overlap. Long ball. Gehrig comes in, gets the fist in. A timely fist it was too. Ball across the line, boundary throw in.
Certainly don't think Aaron Hamill's had much luck, really. He's had 2 or 3 free kicks that probably he could have got. One against him, which wasn't there. And then the Stuart Lowe knee into the side of the ribs.
Collingwood by a goal. Rocker looking to open up behind the boundary throw in. Black did really well. Funneled the handball to Gehrig. He's got time to look, even have a bounce through the midfield. No one comes at him. Kick forward is beautiful to Everett. He's marked outside 50, but I think within range for him.
Certainly within range, Brian, at the start of a game, even the second quarter, maybe the third. Tired legs today makes this probably an extra 10 yards.
If he doesn't get the distance, there's not enough St Kilda players down there. They've been outnumbered by about 3 or 4.
To tie the ball game with less than 2 minutes to go. It's a long kick. It won't get there. It'll be thumped through. Not a bad thing for St Kilda. A point at this stage. They keep the ball in their forward half and can go for the win.
Clement. He's got Loney as a long target and finds him.
Well, it could be a game winner, that kick. That went all of 65 metres and hit a target.
Short to Scotland. Scotland on the members' wing. Left foot ball. Stewie Lowe with courage goes back hard and has won himself a free kick.
Last roll of the dice for the Saints. Collingwood have just somehow found a way to get their nose in front at the right time without looking impressive, but this is last roll of the dice stuff now.
Still running carrier.
Black does exactly that. Left foot kick to half forward. 2-on-1 situation. McKee had the ball just tailor-made for him. Handball off to Prestigiacomo. Sideways. Nick Davis claimed high.
Through it.
Now the free kick's going to go the other way.
And they are offside of it.
If he turned on the right foot, Leon Davis was all by himself about 50 metres clear.
Long ball. Marking contest. Here comes Riewoldt. Claimed in the marking contest. No free kick from the umpire. Sideways they go, the Pies to Scotland. Is that game over for the Saints? Richardson.
I'd like to see that again.
In some space. He'll go over the top to Loney and they can chew up some time here if they like. Otherwise he can go. Has a bounce. Has another bounce. Ryan Loney.
antithesis of a contest at St Kilda's half-forward line. There was a big pack of players. I think the boys called Nick Riewoldt as the player running with a fly to the ball. Was it a free kick? I don't think you'd pay it.
Probably not, but he should have marked it.
Yeah, he should have. He did everything right. And then this man here, when I was thinking maybe you hold it up and just play out time, his instinct said, I'll run the footy, try and kick it and put it beyond doubt, and he did that. So, like a top 4 side should, they've found a way to win this game when they haven't played well at all.
Just the 18 seconds left. They're 11 points down, St Kilda, so game over. Collingwood will win. Consolidate a spot in the top 4, and they've got one game to come against the Bulldogs. They've stopped their losing sequence of 2. Moyle inside 50. Couple of seconds left, that's it. Collingwood are going to win. Confirm their spot in the top 4. Supporters are very happy. Didak there kicked the first goal of the game. And look at the emotion. Mick Malthouse is absolutely worn out. St Kilda only kicked 2 points in that last quarter. I don't know whether the Pies are hot, but they won.
They did, and they didn't play well. So the top side against the 15th on the ladder, I think St Kilda are at the moment. You'd expect them to be able to do that, but it wasn't impressive. St Kilda at the end of the day had 70 more possessions than Collingwood. So, Brian, it was a significant result in as much that I think Grant Thomas will be pretty shattered again, Rocket. We know he was upset at the end of last week. He'll be shattered. James Brayshaw would agree with me, I'm sure. And, well, those 2 players, 2 of the stars of the future, but he'd be disappointed, Grant Thomas.
Oh, for sure. I think they've really worked hard, especially the last 3 or 4 weeks, and they were close against Geelong, close last week. And their 2 last quarters, the last 2 games have been very good. But today they ran out of legs and couldn't find a way to score in the last quarter.